I am your host, Tre Mosley, and today I have a young lady who I look at as my VO little sister. Um, she has come a mighty long way in the few years in this VO game. Um, she's doing commercials, games, animation, and a partridge in a pear tree. Um, before I introduce this young lady, let's take a listen to some of her stuff.
Time to glow up.
Alert the paparazzi. This stylish queen is headed down the runway to make over the competition. Queen's fighting technique is all about building up a battlement of bubbles. Execute Queen's level 1 sparkle swing to receive 1 bubble for every unblocked hit on the opponent. Her level 2 stretching kick.
New Amazing Prune with lemonade from Sunsweet, where healthy is tasty, and new snacks mean new ways to feel good. Sunsweet, the feel-good fruit.
What up, citizens? It's Fearless Feet, and I'm here with Rocket Racer.
Rocket Racer!
Okay, calm down.
It's challenge time!
So recently, Max left us in her dust. But cars don't always have to be fast, right? So we challenge you to build a ride that can do something else that's really cool. Are you tired from a long drive? Well, build a tent car to sleep in.
Thirsty from a long drive? Slushy truck!
Sure, think crazy. Think wild. We sure can't wait to see your rides. So share your epic builds on the LEGO Life app and ask
your parents first!
Okay, Rocket.
Your city, no limits!
Ever wonder how we test if our wipes are safe to flush? Let's find out. First, we send down the goods. Then they travel through the drain line, just like they do at your home, and are collected to further ensure that they continue to break down after leaving your pipes on the way to the wastewater utility plant. Afterwards, we let them sit for 30 minutes at room temperature. Then they're ready for the slosh test to simulate what happens as they move through your town's wastewater system. At only 17 seconds, the Cottonelle flushable wipe starts to disintegrate and the toilet paper perforation detaches, but the baby wipe is still completely intact. Now, let's speed things up. The last layer of our flushable wipe is still breaking down while our toilet paper breaks up into smaller pieces. And the breakdown continues. By the end of the sloshing process, both the Cottonelle flushable wipe and Ultra Clean toilet paper have broken apart into small pieces. However, the leading baby wipe remained intact. The final result? Cottonelle flushable wipes break down like toilet paper.
You know, it's not many people who can make booty wipes and prune juice sounds so beautiful. Then my next guest, ladies and gentlemen, she is just over herself. Jazzy Frizzle is on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it is so great to see your face and to she's like,
Watching your own work is weird. I can't.
really, after all this time, you
After
still
all this time.
So I guess we'll jump in. So what is it about it that you just go, not me again?
Listen, I think part of it is, the saying you're your own worst critic.
True.
And it's just like, oh, I sound like that? Oh no, like, oh my goodness. But it's just like, I hear my voice every day. I don't need to hear it more. I'm doing this for y'all, not for me.
Well, it's part of the gig. I was in another interview talking to Donovan Cornetz, and it's funny, whereas he's cool with it, and you're just watching you the whole time while it's playing, you just like, is it done?
Oh my.
And we are our own worst critic. I've seen some promos and I'm like, they could have turned that up a little bit. I don't sound, and everybody's like, that sounds great. What are you talking about? It's great. It's great, man. What are you talking? I'm like, no, you didn't hear how I went, tonight. I didn't emphasize tonight.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so yeah,
Mhm.
I totally get that.
I
So
already knew it was gonna be like that too, because whenever I'm in session and they do playback, they're like, "All right, let's play that back," and I'm just like, "No, let's not. Like, we don't need to do that."
you have to do it. They say it ain't nothing to it but to do it. So
That's true.
let's get into it. Um, you hail from the great state of Colorado, because y'all
It's
got
cold right
snow
now.
already. Yeah.
Got my
Damn.
coat on.
Um, that's crazy. But how does one from Colorado find voiceover, or did voiceover find you?
So, okay, that's a great question. Probably a mix of both. I'm your theater typical, like, theater choir kid growing up, loved acting, did improv, did the whole nine. But like there was nothing attractive or appealing to me about the famous aspect of being a celebrity, because
Mm-hmm.
I like my business to be my business. I like to shop in the grocery store in peace.
Amen.
Yeah, like it's just a whole aspect of the industry I never had an interest in. And so naturally for me, wanting to still act, wanting to still be a part of it, voiceover just seemed to be it. And I remember thinking one day, it was just like, oh, this is somebody voiced that. Somebody did that and
Mm-hmm.
got paid to do it. This is a job. I could do that. And then it was just a matter of diving in from there.
That's cool. Um, did you face any obstacles, being that you weren't in, you know, the larger markets? You're
Oh
like
yeah.
you're literally smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
what obstacles or adversities did you face trying to get your name and voice to those ears in New York, and to those ears in LA, and to those ears even in Chicago, to say,
Mhm.
hey, I know a girl.
That's me. No, well, apparently one of my new names circling around the industry is the queen of direct marketing. So that is my niche. um, I I really just dove in. It was just a matter of, okay, I know how to do this. I have a demo. Let me just go to Google and see what's in my area. There's studios here. I mean, we're no LA, but we're getting there. Scarily.
Oh,
Uh, but it was just, Google was my best friend. I Googled studios, marketing agencies, ad agencies, and just started sending out emails. Um, and then, eventually hitting those bigger markets like California and New York. And then just like, oh, and, the benefit of not telling people where I am did help. But in the realm of non-character work, it's always had the potential to be remote. And it was always like being a remote voice actor was never a problem in that part of the industry. And so it was just really easy to reach out to these people. Hey, I have a home studio. I can do this. There we go. And here we are. Um, and to this day, I have some of those same clients that I reached out to years ago. It's been amazing. I've done so much, and a lot of it will never see the light of day, which is why I got into this industry.
I'm good with that. There's some corporate stuff. I'm like,
That.
y'all ain't got to see that. Just believe it was okay.
Yes, just
Yeah,
know I'm doing the thing.
we did a thing. Can I see it?
No.
No, not gonna see that. Do you remember your first? So two part.
Mhm.
Do you remember your first gig? And then do you remember your first gig when you saw the check? You was like, "Oh, we can do this."
Oh, this is a career. The first gig I ever did was for a friend of mine who does like marketing and like advertising. He works in advertising. He had a client who was this little old woman who was retired, and in her free time she ran a dog sitting place. She just babysat dogs. It was wonderful. And she had a little Facebook video and they needed voiceover for it. So he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I hear you doing voiceover. We need a voice for, this client." I was just like, let's do it. And it was just this little Facebook video, maybe about a minute long, just talking about how she dog sits. And it was amazing. Got paid a couple $100 and it was wonderful. So I'll always remember that. That was my first gig ever. The the one. Um the one I did a commercial for a client that aired during oh gosh, what's the big NASCAR?
Daytona 500.
Yeah, not as big as that, but it was like one of the big ones. I
Mm-hmm.
can never remember like what it is, but I remember um oh gosh, I'm gonna have to look because I can't remember. But I remember that aired, and then when I got paid for it, I was like, oh, okay. I think I can do this. Okay, all right, we got this. This is fine. So those were the two. It was for Money Lion. I remember the client being Money Lion. I just can't
Okay.
remember. And it was talking about NASCAR women racers and just women, and it was great. But yes.
Yeah, you kind of went. I wonder how much they. Oh, so there's a comma and zero.
And a zero. Oh, this is interesting. Is it always like this?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I remember my first voiceover. It was, and check this out.
Uh-oh.
It was a PSA, public service announcement, in Spanish, because I read Spanish pretty good. Growing up in Miami, you hear all type of dialects and accents. So I was good at doing that. But it was a PSA in Spanish in Colombia. Here's the punchline: to just say no to drugs.
Okay. That's it.
And this is no shade to anyone in Colombia or the country Colombia itself, but and at that time things were still kind of, and I'm like, you want me to tell the little kids to say no, but the cartels is okay to distribute. You know what? That's not my never mind. Sure, I'll do it. And I got paid $250. And I was like, voiceover, this ain't nothing. I got this.
I already talk enough.
Yeah, VO, this what we paying? Oh, this what's up. Yeah.
This is fine.
And then you realize as you get more knowledge into the business that I could have got $2,000 for that and not $250.
We all have those ones.
We all have
it.
those. And
we
then,
all start somewhere though.
And I remember the first like big check I got. And they're like, yeah, we'll pay you in the next 30 days. I was like, well, wait, 30 days? Because the guy, he paid me like same day. Why 30 days for you people? And I was cool. And before ACH and direct deposit, I got a paper check. And I was like, well, they say that'd be a nice piece of change.
This is...
That's a 10. And that's a 0.
Sorry, is that a period or is that a comma? You let me know. Hold on.
And I'm telling I said, I got a check for $10,000. And Danielle was like, what? I'm like,
just hold on. You double check and make sure I read this right. Hold on.
And usually I do mobile deposits and just keep a copy of the check in case it doesn't go through. No, I went to the bank that day, baby. I want y'all to see.
We're going right in for this.
I'm like, I'd like to deposit this, please. He's like, oh, well, just a second, Mr. Mosley. Even the way she said my name sounded better.
Like,
I'll wait over here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Now, do I get like a refreshment, anything, a snack?
Would you like some snaps?
Waiter? No? Okay, sorry, wrong place.
Would you like a hot pocket? So yeah, yeah, that first big one you never forget. And what's funny is, especially in this business, as you can probably attest, you will have those moments where it's like, hey, I got another big check. I got another big check. I got another big check. 2 months later,
Where where look, I said
hello.
I was talking to Tony, my husband, the other day, and it was just like, the great thing about this industry is that you get to make your own schedule, but so do your paychecks.
Hey, boy, it hit different in the independent streets, man.
Woo! That net 30, the net 90. I
That
was like,
night,
wow, come on now.
yeah. There's some days I'm like, if I was still working corporate, I knew every 2 weeks on the 15th or the 30th is in there.
Mhm.
Now it's like it's the first, it's the 19th, it's the first again.
Yep. Yep. What's going on?
So how do you deal with the ebb and flows of not only the money coming in, but the work coming in? Because we have those days or those weeks where it's just, and then you may have a couple of days or a couple of weeks where you only book one thing this week. Oh, they don't like me no more. Or only book 5 things this month. Oh, they must not really like me.
They don't need me no more. What's going on? Boy, that's a heavy question. Um, right now, I think what's helped is being so diversified in the different genres. Because my own personal goal is just booking one job a week. Like that's all I need in my life, and I'll be like, okay, right?
Hmm.
And it could be a small thing. It could be this narration on the side that's for this little startup company, or it could be a big old commercial. I think just being able and not putting all your eggs in one basket really helps, because when you do that, you're looking for work from that specific source or
Hmm.
from those specific clients. So if you diversify yourself in the industry, you don't have to worry that much. They may not all be 5-figure checks,
Right.
but it's coming in, and you know that you have that work, and you know that it's great. uh I do get a little sad when I check my little email that tells me I got mail coming in the day and I don't see no check, but be like, okay, well, I know what's coming, so it's fine. We did the job. Oh, look, I'm doing a job later this week. Or, oh, it's Friday, I haven't done anything this week. The client wants something right now. Oh, awesome, great. So I think, one, being a minimalist kind of helps. You don't expect a lot, but just diversifying yourself, because you're not just depending on one source.
Yeah. One thing I like about uh you, not only are you a great voiceover talent, but you do a lot for our community. Talk a little bit about the things that you're doing in the organizations that you're in and all that. Yeah, come on, you gotta tell it.
Okay. I'm really bad, y'all, at promoting. So I'll
Says the
try my
direct
best.
marketing person.
Well, but see, now that's the difference, though, right? I'm like, look, it's so much easier for me to reach out to people directly than having to remember to post something on social media every day, or every time something comes out, I have to remember to share it with the world. I'm terrible at that, like 100%.
Well, this is
Um,
practice.
this is practice. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So yes, I co-founded a organization called Voices of Color, and our ultimate goal is to diversify the industry, because I mean, Trey, you know it. Coming into this industry, you don't see it, or it's not, it has so much potential,
Hmm.
but the diversity is just not there, the inclusion is just not there, and when it is, it's so specific, and that specificity is just very limiting to how the world sees voice actors of color. Um, so, us as an organization, we try to prepare voice actors of color for opportunities to come their way, so they're already, make we're as accessible as we can be, because, not everybody can afford $200, $300 classes and workshops. And so we're trying to prepare them, and then we're also trying to educate on production side. We have some projects coming out. We're teaming up with Nava. We're teaming up with HelpNet. Like we have so much that we're coming up to do to officially diversify this industry, because it's hard. It's really hard.
And I think that's important because um, when I went to VO Atlanta earlier this year, and I've been to a few of them in the past, but I think this one by far had so much to, I'm just put it out there, color this year. Um, and I had so many people coming up to me, which was kind of scary. It's like, oh man, thank you so much for what you've done. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here at the table. What did I do? And to hear, folks your age and younger saying, well, hey man, I heard your podcast and
Mm,
you almost gave it up, but you was like, no, I got to. And it,
mhm.
it kept me pushing. And I don't know the young lady. And if you ever see this podcast, reach out to me. But she hugged me. She was almost in tears or was in tears. And she's like, thank you. And I'm like, huh. But then you realize, and I'll go back in the Wayback Machine when I was growing up, watching cartoons, playing games on Nintendo and Sega. Shut up. I didn't hear voices that looked or
Mhm.
sounded like me. It wasn't until I started watching the credits at the end of cartoons, um, and then having to go to this place called the library and actually look it up in books and encyclopedias and stuff. I'm like, oh, that person's an actor. And then when the internet came about, that really opened my mind because now all these names I had in my head that I didn't feel like going to the library and look up, I can just click, 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 click.
Mhm.
Oh, that dude was black? Didn't know that. And
Mhm.
you find out that there's so much hidden history in VO, and I'm so glad that now I'm a part of it, you're a part of it, and we get to now pave the roads and open those doors like, look, everybody's invited. Come on in. People always say, I want to see the table. We got the biggest table. If you don't see a chair, can y'all get her a chair, please? Everybody gets a chair. And I
There's
think
plenty
that
of room at it. There's plenty of room.
it is. Have you found any pushback or backlash because of the organizations? Where you have allies on this side that, yes, I'm whatever you guys need, I'm here. And then you have folks who may be secretly like, well, why do they have to have that for? And that kind of thing.
I mean, I think the toughest thing in general when it comes to social change is the change part of it, because there's always that side that's like, oh, but it's voice acting. It shouldn't matter what you look like, we don't see you, whatever, right? But then it's like, well, it does matter, because for since the start of VO, do you know how many times we've been skipped over for the characters that look like us? How hard to this point, how hard it's been to even get ourselves to play ourselves, like it's that itself has been the first obstacle. And now we're getting to a point where, yay, now we can authentically portray characters that look like us. But now that issue has turned into, now we're being limited to only playing those characters that look like us, because the issue in media itself is that media isn't completely diversified. Media isn't, you have a show of characters and two of them are people of color and it's a cast of 30 characters.
Right.
So even limiting us to authentically playing our own characters, okay. And one of my friends, JP Carlack, there we go, who runs QueerVox, the QueerVox directory and group, said a great thing. Like, you've trusted straight white people to play characters outside of who they are for
Hmm.
generations. You can do the same for us. You
Agreed.
can play those characters. That's it. So
I absolutely agree.
there's that pushback. And I also think there's an obstacle of people. We're in an age where social media has made everything more intense than it should be,
Yeah.
in the sense that people can't take feedback or criticism without it feeling like they're being attacked. So when we're telling everyone, like, hey, urban's not an accent, so maybe you should have put
Uh-oh.
X, like,
Whoa.
that kind of thing. Take a drink. You know it. You know how it is. So
Or swagger.
or swagger or the black accent. I don't know what that means, but okay. When you are offering this feedback, somehow people on the receiving end of that feedback feel like they're being attacked.
Yep.
And you can't have a productive and forward moving conversation if one party feels like they're constantly being attacked.
Amen to that. Um, and speaking of that, I know I hear a lot of people that also say, "Well, it's just voice acting."
Mhm.
But here's the thing I noticed. Let's say that a white voice actor gets a chance to play a black character. You may see it in Variety magazine. Hey, so and so is now the voice of, Petey the Fish in the new, Rinky Dink show or something. And that person may go through some type of like a harassment case or something like that. Everybody's rushing to their aid, like, well, hey, he didn't mean it or she didn't mean it, so and so and so. But then the tables turn a little if a black actor is cast for a
Mhm.
role or something in VO, and then if that person gets in trouble, for those people who say, well, it's just acting, it's not like they're going to see your face, all of a sudden that picture's right there. That person did this thing. Same, 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 same. So, yeah, I think if you're going to do it one way, do it the other way as well. Um, and we still, unfortunately, it's like um, the closer you get to progress, the progress sign keeps moving back, and you're like, "Wait, where you going? Progress, progress."
Hold on, slow down. I'm just now getting closer. Come on.
Yeah, so it's a never ending battle, and thank you for what you're doing for us, and also you know it, even now for me who's been doing this uh 15 years about to be, but maybe it is 15. I'm old and I drink, but don't worry about it. But
It's fine.
I find that, and I remember a session I auditioned, and the voice that I used was not my regular tone. It was very polite. It's kind of like right here. And they're like, hey, he'd be great. And then I walked in and everyone's looking past me and I'm like, I'm here for the session. Um, what session? I'm like, well, for the thing. You're Trey? I'm like, yes, I am. Just 1 second, and then phew, they run off. Oh, hi, Trey. You're here. Yes, I am. You sound so different.
Please elaborate.
You don't say.
Explain.
I had a European client, uh, bless his heart, and I was a little bit of a I wasn't nice, and here's why. So I'm reading, and it was for a European ad,
Mm.
and they do things totally different over there.
Yes, they do.
And he wanted he was trying to find a way to say more street or more urban, but he did not know how to say it. And he was like, Tres, we love what you are doing. Can you make it sound more black? Now, it took me 49 years to get this tone. It ain't rubbing off no time soon. Uh what huh? We wanted more black. And now my wheels are turning. I'm like, I think he wants kind of a more rugged, maybe street edgier,
Mhm.
but he doesn't know how to convey that. And now he's even trying to mimic, we wanted more black. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
this is
oh.
getting good. So then I now proceed to give him the many variations of black that I have in my toolbox. I said, well, how black do you want it? Would you like black like this? Or perhaps you want something black with energy? Or would you like a happy black? Or do you want, street thug black? Yes, that is the black.
Oh my gosh.
And after he said, you could see the excitement of the yes, I said, let me tell you something. Black is, yes, it's a description of the color of my skin,
Mhm.
but I'm so much more than just a black voice actor.
Mhm.
When I tell you this, after that, after about 3 to 5 minutes of me just explaining to him why that was not a good thing, he apologized so profusely. I mean, almost in tears. We went ahead and did the spot. I have never seen the spot to this day. All I know is it's for a company called Bosch, Bosch. So if it's out there somewhere, yay. Um, when I got paid though, it was double the rate. So they gave me a little pain and suffering, and I wasn't mad.
No, wouldn't be bad about that. No. Shoot.
You got an education, and I got double the pay.
There
Thank you
you
so much.
go. And I think that's the biggest thing is just the education of it because we know what America's rooted in. We already know. And we already know how not even just black folk, but how each ethnicity is portrayed and what they're expected to
Yeah.
sound like, quote unquote, even though as a monolith, we all don't come from the same place. We
Nope.
all weren't raised in the same household. We all don't know each other. Like to have this expectation of like we're looking for a black voice and you know what they're looking for when they say
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what they're looking for. And that's not how it is. I'm an army brat. I'm born and from Montana with my mom. I'm an army brat. Lived overseas, lived in different states, settled here in Colorado. I cannot sound like the hood, like I'm from the hood to save my life. You know what I mean? Like I can't do that because me as a person, if they're like, yeah, we want you to sound more urban and things like that, I'm just like, now I feel like I'm offending my own people by putting
Mm-hmm.
on a caricature because I feel like I'm doing a character and I'm black and I love to say I'm black so I always sound black. Like that's
I
just the
know.
way that's what it is. Like I'm black. You were looking for a black voice. Hello, I'm here. That's what I sound like. Just
Right.
like, you know, I don't sound like the same black girl down the street. I don't sound like Cree Summer. Like it's just like we are not a monolith.
Yeah.
Same with Latin people, Latine people, Asian people, and it's just so that expectation is just so biased, and it's so like this is what your country taught you, how to like this is how they taught you to view people of
Mm-hmm.
color, certain ethnic groups, and that's not okay.
No, it is.
So
It
it's
is.
just it's just the education portion of it of just now, hey guys, these specs say an urban accent. Just want to let you know that's not a real thing. Hey
No.
guys, it says a black accent. Want to let you know it's not a real thing. I saw an audition come in a couple weeks ago that said uh looking all ethnicities can audition including African American, and I was like, I don't know what that means.
Well,
Like
thank you, boss. I'm glad you let me come play with you.
like I don't know what that means, like including. I'm very confused right now. Like I were we not a part of all ethnicities
So it's
or
like, yeah, yeah. You want to bring the blacks in too? Yeah, bring them in. Okay, black, please.
sorry, we forgot to add that on the end and
Yeah,
include that in there.
you
So
guys can come too.
yeah, yeah.
Wow,
So it's just
including.
you. It's one of those not obvious things, but we know.
Yeah.
because we experience, we're on the other side of it. So it's just the little minor details, minute details like that, that made you, like, maybe there was no ill will behind it,
Yeah.
but it shows our innate biases that we have been taught in this society and in this country. And so it's just a matter of educating people on those.
And I think that's the one thing above all. You have to start educating the casting directors.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start educating, hell, sometimes educating the writers. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've watched cartoons and some of the lines they've given to black characters, I'm like, now you know ain't no brother right that. Or ain't no sister right that. Somewhere Katie or Alex or Chase or somebody wrote that. Maybe they have black adjacent friends and they was like, hey, is this cool to write? And they probably said no and they wrote it anyway.
Anyway, they're like, oh, I'll just change a couple words. That's all.
And then it comes out and them same friends like, man, I told you that wasn't cool. But it was such a funny line.
To you.
And
It's not a good look.
yeah,
It's not a good look.
it's not cool. Okay, let's shift gears because we'll be in here preaching for an
All
hour.
day. Okay, listen.
So word on the street is, and it's a very big VO street, that someone's expecting.
I am expecting.
Now, how do you manage? Because you're already a mommy,
I'm
times
already
two.
a mommy. 2 beautiful girls.
So you got the youngins pulling and tugging, and now you got baby makes 3 on the way. How do you work with all that going on? Those two, they're probably self-contained. They're the age where they can do whatever.
I don't
But
know
you
about
got
that.
but you got that extra load though, and you're having to do this and do that, and she's like, how do you manage all of that?
One, I have a beautiful support system. I have a great support system. My husband is a gem. I adore him. Mother-in-law, my parents, my family that lives here, we have a very wonderful support system, and I don't think I would have made it to this point if I did not have that. So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, do a voiceover. Again, you get to make your own schedule. It works well as much as you can. You get to make your own
Right. Yeah.
schedule. But I think the freedom of not having to be somewhere. I get to be home most of the time. Like, yay for remote, not even just in the sense of remote voiceover, like not even because of COVID, just the remote aspect of being
Yeah.
able to do this from home has been amazing. Now, COVID did help push that a little more with more work, which is
Mm-hmm.
like, if there was one of like 2 things good that came out of COVID, that was one of them.
Amen.
But that is, those are the two. I get to spend time with my kids. I get to pick them up from school. One's in half day preschool. Husband's got to work. Oh, great. I could just schedule a session while she's in half day or after I pick her up. Perfect. Mother-in-law will pop on over to watch them if, I have a session that I got to, take care of real quick. It's the support system. It really is. And being a parent is hard enough out here.
How is it
hard.
physically carrying her inside of you though? Like,
Oh, I have no air. There's no breath. I catch myself too when I'm recording and I'm like, okay, hold on. I gotta give me a couple seconds. This is good. So yeah, that I would say is probably the biggest obstacle is my breath control. But I say after I have this child, because I also live in Colorado, and
it's a mile high.
we ain't got no oxygen up here. So I always say after I have this child, I'm gonna travel somewhere that's like below sea level, and I'm gonna run a marathon, and I'm gonna be excellent at it. And it's gonna be great. But that's hard. and I don't do a lot of strenuous voice acting work as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So which is really good. Most of my stuff is commercial narration, so I don't have that stressful like demeanor and the physicality of voiceover if I were doing like majority character work. So I'm thankful for that as well. So I've had it pretty good. I will say I have had it pretty good.
When
I
do you
just need
do?
more oxygen.
When do you do?
February 6th.
That's the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Either the
Oh
day.
shoot.
Oh, well, we don't have to worry about the Broncos being there, so you'll be okay.
Hey, go. Good thing I don't watch football, but I'm gonna have to break that to the hubby on that one.
Yeah, you know he's well, we won't go there. So, are there any are there any avenues of VO that you have not yet driven down that you like, I want to take a trip down that road?
VOG work.
Hmm.
VOG work. I it's one of those things where that comes from hosting things, like get-togethers, being on stage, introducing people. It's probably the stage days, honestly, but it always seems fun. It always seems really fun, and maybe I'm thinking more of like the fun events, like the kid-centered award shows and things
Yeah.
like that, where it's less serious. But that's an avenue I would like to explore one day. Not now because that's in person, but after,
Yeah.
I definitely want to dive into that. And audio description.
Hmm.
Audio description. I'm a big advocate for accessibility. And audio description is a very underutilized venue of voiceover.
Yeah, I
There's
know a
so
couple
much
of folks that
potential in it.
do it, and they love doing it. For you all listening at home, VOG means voice of God
Oh
or
yeah.
announcer. So welcome to the 50th annual Westminster Dog and Pony Show. That's what she's talking about. I will say, having done some VOG events, uh, they are fun.
Yeah.
It's hectic, but then once all of that kind of subsides, it's just do your. So I'll tell you this: the key to making a good VOG gig run smooth, it got to be three things. One, they give you good copy. Two, you have a person. They usually assign a person or persons to you. I had it so good. I had a guy that flipped my pages for me. I was like,
Hey.
"Thank you, good sir. You're a swell guy." And then having a good producer in your ear that'll tell you cue announce. Okay, so I did this conference called CinemaCon, and it's vendors for the film and theater industry. So you got the movie theaters, so your Cineplexes, your Regals, your AMCs, and then you have the distributors, your Focus Films, your Universal. Like, hey, we got some pretty good films. Well, we got some pretty good theaters. If I give you X amount of films to put in your theaters, and you make money off them, then you give me some money back. So it's a trade show.
Love that.
And I had the opportunity to introduce Joe Coy, Jeff Goldblum, and what is her name? I'm looking right at her, the redhead who's in Jurassic Park with him. She's the daughter of
Yes. Oh,
Bryce Dallas Howard.
thank you. Oh my goodness gracious. That was going to bother me all day.
Yeah. And Mr. Jordan Peele. The only thing is I did not get to meet any of them. Because so when I first got there, they have the stage and the person's out there putting the mark where each person's going to stand. He's like, okay, so the lights will go dim here, and you'll say, please welcome so and so and so. And you go through maybe an hour of rehearsal. At least this was my experience. And then when you're done, I'm just going through the pages like, okay, so here I'll say so and so. And then and the cool thing about it, I got a chance to not only be the VOG, but inside of the show, they were also debuting movies that were coming out. So I got to put on my best trailer voice. I'm like, coming soon from so and so films in January. Idris Elba in Beast. And now here's the CEO of Universal Studios or so and so and so. I'm like, this is kind of nice. I like this. So it was a really cool event. Um, and the pay wasn't that bad
Okay, I was gonna say.
either. Yeah, no, the pay wasn't that bad. It was
That's my ultimate goal in voiceover. It's just
it was some commas and zeros in that.
yeah. Just like let me just pay my bills. I respect people that are like, oh, my dream role is this, and I'm just like, I just want to pay my mortgage.
You just want to work. And see, you know what? And that's cool of you to say, because I know that there are people who want to get into this industry and they want to be the next VO star. I want to make bazillions and bazillions of dollars, have my name on this toy or this video game. And there are people out there that's doing it like that. But then you have some folks that are quietly just, in this section, we will teach you how to properly turn on and off your garage.
Yeah.
And making $200,000.
Welcome to your new job. Here's your orientation. Like, that's it.
And it's like, so how much did you make last year? And they go, well, I made like $350,000. You made $350,000? And like, what did you do? And she's like, yeah, so I just do a lot of e-learning and corporate narration. And they're scratching their heads like, well, I played, Roger the Roach and so, and I got like $1,000 an episode. And they're like, well, that's great for you.
Like, good
But
for
me, over here in the corporate sector, they know a sister. So there's so many different ways you can support yourself and make the kind of income. I always say, create the life you want to live. And
the table's so big just because of it's one of those things where you don't realize like, you start a new job in that awkward benefits explaining orientation video you got to sit through. Somebody voiced that. Somebody got paid to voice that.
And it was probably me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm sorry to people around the world that are listening to an awkward orientation. Welcome to your new job video.
I did one for there's this company called UL, Underwriters Limited. If you have anything with a plug on it, and you see the little U and that L thing, so they make sure that the stuff that they send out to people it's safe, so that you don't plug it in and all of a sudden your hair is like. I did some training videos for them, and I didn't know there were so many ways that a can of fumes could explode and kill you. And I'm like, before discarding the can, please make sure that the fumes have been properly emptied from the can. Like, how would they know? And then they give you a sequence, properly wash the can, use this solvent, and whatever. And please do not store next to any other flammable or explosive objects, as a spark could cause explosion. You're like, but there's nothing in the can. And then somebody walks by and strikes it with a whatever, ping, that one little spark.
Boom.
I'm like, oh. So basically you got some knuckleheads on the job that don't know better. And
all those awkward videos, you're like, wow, somebody had to write this because this happened and somebody messed up.
Yep, I've done some where the proper way to wear the harness as you're on a scaffold, so as you do not, if in case the brake release doesn't work, and then you get like jerked, if it's pulled a certain way, it could dislocate your hip. Or if you're a man, it could mess up your naughty bits.
Look,
so
I've learned so much that I will never use in my life. Like,
yeah, the only thing I did that was useful, they were talking about power lines. Please make sure you're at least 10 to 15 feet away from a power line. Do not attempt to, corral the line yourself.
Oh my
Call the
gosh.
local, electric company and they will come. So I'm like, yeah, I knew that already. But yeah, it's so many ways that you can get your paper out here. It's yes, it's cool to get a cartoon.
Hmm.
Yes, it's cool to be that character in animation, but don't limit yourself because then you're going to be disappointed if I've been auditioning for cartoons for 2 years and I haven't gotten anything. Well, maybe there's some e-learning you could do,
Yeah. Well,
or
and I think that's like the biggest difference, right? Is that cartoons, animation, that's the media we willingly consume with voiceover. That's
hmm
what we see the most of. It's the content that we just pass by and don't think nothing of. That has a smaller market because not as many people think about that.
I have a deeper respect for TV commercials, especially when you're getting residuals for them
Listen.
because now it used to be you would turn and be like, but then if your commercial comes on, I was like, that's me over there. And then, another month goes by, and you're like, another check? The first time I got residuals, I I did not understand.
Oh, listen. I got it wasn't necessarily residuals, but it was another because it was a non-union gig,
So
and
it's a
they
renewal.
a renewal. And I
Yeah.
remember getting a check, and I was like, "Wait, I did this gig like a year
Mhm.
ago. What do you mean? Oh, they're gonna use it again. Oh, this is nice. I didn't have to do nothing. Okay."
I have a client now for the last matter of fact the big gig at the first big
Oh,
check gig
yep.
to this day. It's been 5 years running. That's a renewal.
That's all it is.
They just hit me up. Hey, client wants to know if you'll agree to another year. Um, we added some different markets. We took some different markets away, so it won't be 10,000. It may be 7, depending on the market.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
like, sure,
whatever. Yeah, that's
yeah.
okay.
So renewals are good, but residuals that's a
That's a
whole
whole
different game
that's a whole different beast right there.
because I remember getting a whole bunch of checks at one point because I grabbed the envelope out the mailbox. I'm like, this is very heavy for one check. And it was like 6 checks and it was all for the same thing. I used to do, so there was a couple of Broadway shows in New York that were running at the time. And I was the voice for the commercial. I did not know that they were going to be running for 13 weeks and 16 weeks. And so I'm getting, here's a check for $2,000. I'm like, huh? Well, it ran for 3 weeks in Connecticut. Here's a check for $6,000. I'm like, huh? Well, it ran for, 4 weeks in Vermont. And I'm like, so this how that worked.
Thank you. Y'all need any other states? Anybody else want to travel to New York? I got this.
Man, so shout out to the union. Cause
Shout out. Shout
yeah.
out.
So before we wrap, I do a thing. And because you've taken time out to be on the show with me, but tell the people, Jazzy, what does Jazzy the Frizzle do to take time out for herself?
Oh my gosh. I nap a lot. Well, but that's just now. That's now during mommy child building time. But no, I love to travel, and somebody's just using the bathroom. Cool. I love to travel. I think part of it is because I was an army brat and like being in all these places, but I love revisiting these places as an adult because there's a different experience than like, oh my god, I was 10 years old when I was here at this country
Mhm.
overseas. I only remember that they have good gelato. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything about that. But going and going to these places, like my husband is born and raised Colorado, and I have taken him to so many different states and like we've been countries overseas because I love it.
Mhm.
And I love eating. So I'm never mad at having to try new food and checking out the food scene. But I will travel. I will for a little stay at home time. I love movies. I love watching movies. I
Any
one of
certain
those
genre of
people.
movie?
What's that?
Any certain genre of movie?
I love horror. I also I love the kids movies. I cannot lie. But I'm one of those people that will go to the movie theater by myself. I have no problem going to do it. It's nice. It's my treat to myself. I'll grab my little ice cream and I'll go sit and watch the movie. But I'll shut myself in my room and watch Netflix. You know what I mean? Like it's that's what I like to do. And it's just relaxing and maybe I'll fall asleep. Cool. Maybe I got a nice plate of sushi in front of my face. Cool. But yeah, traveling and movies for me, for sure.
That's cool. So, your first big check comes in the mail.
Mm-mm.
What is the one thing you say, you know what? I'm gonna ball out and get.
Go to the casino.
I was trying not to put that in there because
You know what? It's fine. No, it's cool. It's cool. Again, I don't have a problem. All my bills are paid. I always make sure that my bills are paid first. And then we go have fun. But no, I like we our casino here in Colorado is in the mountains. And so it's really nice. We like to spend the night up there every once in a while. It's beautiful up there. You could hike a little bit, like they have options just besides gambling.
do
Okay.
they have cabins?
They have cabins, and Idaho Springs is not that far from the casino either, and it's like the
Because
perfect like
I
cabin.
have been saying to myself since I'm now on this side of the country, I want to have some type of getaway, be it
Oh,
Christmas or whatever, where I can go to a nice cabin that has a nice hot tub and a fireplace, and I can take me and the missus, and I can have some adult beverages. And
Trey, y'all are gonna want to come to Colorado.
well, sign me up. Yeah,
What's a long sled? What's a long sled?
I'm just saying, tell Macaroni Tony we going to the resort, man. We going
Let's go. I'm ready because look, look, Tony. My brother-in-law, his birthday is this month, and they're going to Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So you can say hi to Tony. I'm not going because I have sessions those days, but they're going to Vegas, and so I said, in exchange for you going to Vegas,
Oh,
I just
boy.
want a night at the casino in the resort.
The bartering system.
That's it.
You
That's
do
all. That's
something
all.
for me, I do something for you.
Thing for you, exactly. So I'm looking forward to it because I am ready.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me and the peoples today. It is always a pleasure to talk to you and see you and continue success, and congratulations on the little one coming through soon. And
So
that glow is not from the light, y'all. That's
oh, stop it. Tell me more, but stop it.
ladies and gentlemen, this is Jazzy Frizzle. Tell the peeps where they can find you, girl.
My website is jazzyfrizzlevo.com. I mean, that's pretty much where I am everywhere. Even though there are certain social media sites going down, I'm not getting any new ones. So good luck, everybody. No way. But yeah, hit me up. Even just to chat. I like talking to people. People are cool.
And the website for your organizations.
Voices of Color is voctakeover.com. And we we are expanding. We're rebranding at the current moment, but we can assist you. We are offering consultation services if you need help with your specs or casting, or we can help you out with authenticity. If you're a voice actor looking for education, we have that too. Hit us up and we'll help however we can.
All right. Well, like I said, man, this has been a fun show. Um, I got nothing. I'm going to go and do I don't know what I got going on today. I already had some sessions. You know what? You brought up Netflix. Today might be a Netflix day.
Hey, Halloween may be over, but there's still plenty of spooky stuff to watch.
We watched Bride of Chucky. I had
Oh.
never seen it all the way. I saw pieces and bits, and I watched the whole thing, and I'm like, the things we do for love. Because
Listen.
and I meant that figuratively because of what happens in the movie, and then literally because this was Danielle's idea. Let's watch Bride of Chucky. I'm like, okay, babe, let's do that. And then I'm like, what am I watching?
The things you've had to sit through? No, it's okay. We know. We know. I know what I make him sit through. It's okay.
Yeah, it'll all work itself out in the end. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Take Time Out with Tre. I am Tre Mosley. That is the lovely and talented Jazzy Frizzle. And we are out of here. Thanks for listening to the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley podcast, part of the Titan Media Network. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcast. To see the video version of this, you can find us on YouTube on the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley YouTube page. Thanks for listening, or thanks for watching. Either way, we'll see you next time.